Welcome to the Own Your Power series, how to be a badass at training your body, mind, and soul to create the life and legacy of your dreams. I'm your host, Crystal Jackson, former pro athlete turned wife, mom, gym owner, and entrepreneur. Today we have a special guest, someone who I just connected with and felt it was a soul connection. You know those people you meet and you can feel it in your soul you had to meet for a reason? Well, that is this woman, Marcy Neumann. Marcy is a professional energy healer, integrative intuitive counselor, spiritualist minister, certified hypnotherapist, and Reiki master. She is also a published author, a creator of an award-winning manifestation and healing products, and public speaker. This work she's been doing for an amazing 45 years plus, and her professional journey has been guided by her own teachings of energy healing and transformation. Marcy helps people all over the world identify and overcome resistance and blocks. She connects on a deep cellular energetic level to help clear the unresolved, unforgiven issues and teaches us how to shift their perceptions and thinking to one always rooted in self-love. Her mission and life purpose is to deliver these messages of love and transform lives through energy healing education, teaching empowerment skills, and creating tools for personal change. I truly loved my interview with Marcy as she reminded me greatly of the late Louise Hay. She has the love, compassion, and wisdom to heal the planet, and you can feel it through our interview. She shares with us how it's our choice to self-sabotage and stay stuck. And she shares how the universe is always there to offer us an opportunity if we are open to it. We also talk about how to raise the vibration frequencies to get unstuck, to see the possibilities and the unlimited potential in our lives. And lastly, find out how to open up your heart to see all the amazing blessings around you daily and how to do it in just 21 to 30 days. And the best part is you're just collecting data. All right, welcome everybody. I'm so excited today. I have an amazing special guest, Marcy Neumann. Marcy, thank you so much for being here.
Crystal, I'm excited to be here with you. This is really fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, well, Marcy, I know you've had a long journey of being in this industry, 45 years, and I just want to take a minute to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you.
Doing this way before even people were even talking about it, I feel like.
It's true. I remember saying that when I first started, I had no one to talk to other than those who were in my immediate little group. Now I can go into the grocery store, the dry cleaner, and have incredible conversations with people. So yeah, it's just such evidence of how love really knows no boundaries, and truth sort of demands itself. So everybody's really coming into it and coming into themselves, which was a beautiful thing.
Well, I have to share, as a kid, you know, self-help transformation aisle at Barnes and Noble's was actually, I was told not to go down there. And isn't that interesting? I mean, that was, and I love my dad, he rest in peace, but that was something that only weird people went and did, right?
Sure.
But as a kid, it's like I've always been gravitated towards it. It was like, you know, loving yourself, working on yourself, transforming, knowing that it starts with you was always something that has just called me. And it's,
you and I both, you know, my whole life long, since I was a young girl, this has always been my path, and I was so clear about it. I knew from the very beginning that there was something much greater than myself, and I was tapped into it. And
tell us more. I want to know, like, how did you become the woman that you are today?
Oh my God, please. So,
you know,
it's a journey, you know, like anyone else who's listening, and yours as well. It's a journey, but there were some really pivotal points in my life, and a couple of them did happen in childhood, where I had sort of these spontaneous past life memories and images that came forward. And to tell you the truth, I thought everybody had them. I didn't realize that I was different, but I remember one in particular. I was a young girl, and I was coveting my neighbor's new white leather ice skates that she got for Christmas. And I was like besides myself. And I had, you're too young to remember this, but I had these double runners that strapped onto my boots. And one day she was so generous and kind and let me put them on to try them. I got on the ice and I was transformed.
Hmm.
I saw myself in a chiffon dress with a man, a partner, and we were ice dancing and we were in competition. And I'm telling you, I was ice dancing in a way that was, I mean, everybody just stood and stopped and watched me. And then somebody started to laugh and said, "What do you think you're doing, Marcy?" And I fell flat on my butt and literally had to like crawl off the ice. And those kinds of experiences started to train my perspective, right? And I started actually to learn at a very young age about energy and how to tap into it, but also what caused it to contract and be cut off completely. So started to get aware about when I cut off my own access to energy. And when I was in nursing school, back in the 70s, I was also enrolled in um, in a, um, a program where I was ordained as a spiritualist minister. And I was trained in hands-on healing, mediumship, and channeling. So that was way back in the 70s. And what I can tell you is that my whole life has been this incredible portrayal of how the universe orchestrates things. And as I said, there were some very pivotal points where I had to choose what I was going to follow. And one of those choices was a complete sort of pivot of the life that I was leading. I was happily married. I was, a pillar of our community. My kids were in all of these activities. And one day I had this epiphany, and it happened actually in a teepee. And it was quite incredible because I was there celebrating my 25th wedding anniversary and thinking, oh my God, I'm on top of the world. I have everything and anything anybody could ever want. And like a ticker tape across my mind's eye, it said, how much longer do I have to do this?
Wow.
And so, to make a long story short, I actually ended up leaving behind nearly everything that had defined me for almost 30 years and just put myself in this position of being open to what spirit brought me and really what served the expansion of me as a soul. And that's where I am today. That's why I'm here.
That's incredible. That takes courage, first of all, to leave
Yes.
everything that you had, because on paper it looks amazing, right?
Right.
You had everything that every person desires, it sounds like.
Yep.
And that, like, what I hear is that your heart was being pulled in another direction, that there was something bigger you were supposed to do. Like, you knew that there was something more in your life, and you had to, not even like you could, it was like it was a must for you to follow.
It was a must for me. You're exactly right. I could actually feel, whenever I tried to deny it, I could feel my spirit dying. I could feel the energy just, contracting, and I started to feel sick. And in fact, I had a number of medical conditions that at the time I just sort of dismissed as being part of my aging process.
Yeah.
And when I put myself in this position where now I was putting my spirit in charge, my soul clearly had its purpose and was expressing it every day, all of my medical conditions disappeared.
Without any drugs?
None. And let me tell you, before that, I'd been living a very healthy lifestyle. I'd been a vegetarian for years and years, exercise, I even had a daily spiritual practice. It's not like that was new to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was my total commitment to saying, I understand, I accept that I'm here for a different reason. And in the Course in Miracles, it talks about, where should I go? What should I do? Who should I speak to? And what should I say? And that's how I started to live my life.
Mm.
And it's what brought me here. And I've never looked back. It's been the most incredible journey.
Mm. It sounds incredible. It sounds actually kind of fun. I mean, it sad, obviously parts of it hard and sad, and also really you listening to what I hear, what I say is like God whispers, like God whispering on your heart of like, hey, Marcy, this is actually your true calling.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't make you right or wrong for what happened in the beginning. It was just, this is the part of your life. You had to go through all of that first.
That's right. And who I became going through that, as well as who I became leaving that, is also contributory to who I am. I expanded during all of that. And the other thing I want to say is that there were so many parts of it I was not unhappy at all. In fact, if you had asked me, I would have told you, absolutely, I'm as happy as can be. Mm-hmm. But there was always this voice underneath, and that, okay, this is okay for now. This is okay for now. And I don't think you can ever be prepared enough when, you make that complete pivot in your life and everything transforms. But I think each of us actually is here with that calling. Mm-hmm. And so, it definitely behooves us to prepare to the best of our ability.
So when you talk about preparing, there's two things I want to talk about: the energy shifts, but first, the overall mindset. Because there's something deep within our mindset that we have to gain courage in that, right? To be able to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like we have to be able to trust ourselves enough, and that maybe incorporates the energy shifts as well. But like you have to have the knowingness inside to be able to trust yourself and take the courage and take the steps forward. But I believe it all comes down to here.
And I sort of learned in my journey that I needed to go beyond that, because I realized I couldn't trust my mind. My mind was constantly reacting and responding to all the badgering taking place from my ego, from the expectations that others had of me, the whole image in my mind about what my life was supposed to be about. So it's, the programming and the conditioning that we come with. It all is part of this inner chatter that's constantly distracting us from reaching our heart. And so for me, I had to cocoon myself for a bit and close those voices out and come into my heart in order to be able to really hear what my higher self was trying to say to me. And when that happened, that's when everything shifted for me. So it helped me.
How do you do that though?
Yeah.
That's the hard part, right?
Yeah. And that's the heart shift coaching that I do now.
Yeah.
And
the name, I love it, because you came to your heart and you were able to shift. So I love that.
Yeah. Because here's what I found. I found that when I stayed in my heart and I worked to really open up those lines of communication, I didn't have to worry about my thoughts. My thoughts followed the vibrational frequency of the energy that was being emitted from my heart. Mm-hmm. So, if we want an analogy, for instance, if we look at an iceberg, we see this incredible thing floating on the water. There's a whole city underneath, right? That is supporting that. And that's what I discovered. It's really the heart that supports all of the other systems. Mm-hmm. So when we want to change our thoughts, because we know that it is a domino effect and it affects what we experience ultimately, there's only one place where sustainable change takes place, and that's in the heart. So what has to happen, and you asked a great question, what has to happen is we have to start feeding what we know feeds the heart. Mm. So for me, like I said, I needed to cocoon myself. Although I had, I think for a while already stopped reading newspapers and listening to the news and all of that, I found that I also had to be very selective about the people that I was with, the conversations that I had. In other words, the things that I then brought into my energy field, I discerned whether or not they were going to feed my spirit, if it was for my highest good and allow my soul to continue to expand. And that was the criteria. So you know what? It sort of required that I let go of some friendships, that I was, again, very selective about where I put myself, what I did. And all of a sudden, the universe laid itself at my feet. It was really the most remarkable experience, because I started to get visions of products to bring to the market and programs. And amazing. I started a manufacturing company. I had no background whatsoever. And in 6 months, I had 8 products on the market and had won 4 international awards. I had never done anything like that before. I started my business not being able to answer an email. I had no idea how. So I had to hire someone to come in and teach me how to use a computer, how to do this. But the universe took care of all the other details. And like I said, it's been such a remarkable journey, and it never stops. It has never stopped supporting me in everything that I've wanted to do.
You know what I really hear through all of that, Marcy, is you chose to follow your heart to your extraordinary life.
That's right.
And every single person has that opportunity. That's what I'm hearing too. But it's a
Yes.
choice, right? I actually love talking about this, the power of choice, because I think it's something that people are missing, that they feel like they have to stay with the soul-sucking job or the shitty relationship or the marriage or whatever it is. And it's like, no, I mean, I read in the 4 Agreements, you'll never keep someone as close to you as you keep, or that you treat worse than yourself, right? So like, I'm not going to keep Susie as my best friend if she treats me worse than me. And I love that you changed the people. I mean, it's I think one of the easiest and hardest things to do is to change your circle of influencers.
That's right.
And with that, it's like, what if that person doesn't have that right now? What can they do? What's another option for them? Where I think everyone can choose, but let's just like the deeper, like what's the next step if they can't, their family, they're like stuck living with their family and they're all Debbie Downers.
So the truth of the matter is, I mean, you really did hit the nail on the head. There is nothing that we don't have a choice over. And everything that we stay in that is sabotaging our health and well-being is our choice to stay there. And what happens when we even will just entertain the thought, what if?
Yeah.
What if I didn't have to? The universe, which is always searching for some little crack in the wall, is going to find it, and it will start to offer opportunity. And all the pieces will fall into place. Will it be clean and neat? Not necessarily. Because you know what? We're not clean and neat, right? Yeah. We're constantly like tiptoeing and walking on this tightrope. But the truth is that if we were clean and neat, everything would just lay itself out. So the real point is that in order to be able to even ask that question, well, what if? We have to first accept that it's our birthright to live in a grand way. And what does that mean? It means being able to receive all of the gifts that the universe has waiting for us. We are meant to be happy and healthy and whole. We're meant to be abundant and prosperous. We're meant to have grand love because we are love. So in order for us to access all of those gifts, we have to access the parts of us that are in alignment with it. So when I'm working with my clients, for instance, I know the first thing that I need to do is I need to start to raise their vibrational frequency so that they can see things differently. They can feel it differently. because from that place of being stuck in the muck or depressed and on the couch, you can't see the possibilities. You don't know that you have this unlimited potential. So as we raise our vibrational frequency, now we can start to say, what if? So here's my favorite way, my all-time favorite way of doing this, and it happens so fast. And I'm going to promise our listeners that the moment that you step into this process, give yourself minimum of 21 days, but if you can go the whole 30, 31 days of a month, you'll be living a completely different life. And that is become a love detective.
Okay.
And your whole job is to remember that you're just there collecting data. What is the data? The data are all the little messages that your higher self is feeding to you every single day, even if you're on that couch. And here's how it happens. You start to recognize that there's something you're watching on television that made you laugh. But it's a different kind of a laugh. It's a feel-good laugh. It's not laughing at someone else. A feel-good laugh.
Okay.
You'll overhear your kids talking, and the conversation will just make you smile. You'll suddenly have a memory of something that feels good. You'll be driving down the street, and all of a sudden, there'll be light streaming through the trees, and you think, oh, God, that's gorgeous. Or you'll feel the wind rustling in the leaves. These are the things. You're listening to a song, and all of a sudden you realize your foot's tapping. So you start to pay attention to all the things that make you feel good, that make you feel softer, that make you feel like energy is shifting in your body. The more you pay attention to that, and I say, write it down, write it down, write it down. The end of the day, you read through it, you're going to sleep in that energy, and it's germinating. And you wake up in the next morning with that same intent. Okay, day 2. And you're going to be writing all that down. And that night, you're going to read it through, and it'll germinate through you as you're sleeping. 21 days, you'll be in a completely different heart set. Because what happens is all of that energy goes out, and it looks for other energy just like itself, and it brings it back. And so where day 1, you might have only experienced one thing, by day 5, you're experiencing 20. And it just keeps working and expanding and expanding. And before you know it, you have this love that's extending through you, and you'll recognize it. And from that place, all of your what ifs will start coming in, falling into place, and the universe would just say, well, how about this? And how about that? And how about this? And how about that? Life will be completely different.
Well, I have to share, I was sharing with a friend the other day, and he was unfortunately in a tough place, and it was a lot of, I have no time. And I said, in a loving way, you're like this. And I feel like most of us walk around like this, right? Instead of, I'm like, what if you could just open up to all the blessings that are around you? And that's what I hear you saying. It's like, we're just opening up our heart and our eyes to all the amazing things that are around us versus, I will not listen. I don't like listening to news. If I need to know about something, someone will come tell me, or I will find it on Instagram. Yeah.
Same thing.
Instagram or Facebook will tell me the update. Love me or hate me for it. But it's like, I really protect myself on what am I feeding my soul and my brain.
That's right.
Love this exercise. Everyone gets to do it. Everyone gets.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a funny thing. That's the other thing is people want the magic pill they want of happiness and life purpose and feeling good in their body. And it's like, I know you're a huge advocate of self-love first, and we have to go there.
But that's, and we used the word before, it's a matter of choice.
Yeah.
You have committed yourself to this life where rather, and I know that you've probably heard people say, oh, you put your head in the sand. Well, what would you rather put in the sand, your head or love?
Yeah.
I'd rather have my head in the sand and my heart up. Because if my heart is in the sand, I won't want my head to be up.
Mm.
In other words, every time that we disconnect from our heart, we are miserable,
Yeah.
miserable. We feel separate from the world. We feel like the whole of life is passing us by, like we don't deserve things. We're not worthy. We're not valuable. Something's wrong with us. We're not lovable. That's when all of that stuff takes us into those downward spirals. Not enough time. First off, get rid of the notion of time.
Yeah.
You know, it's a man-made thing. So just start to choose. What makes me feel good now? What do I want to do now? And just stay there. Are you going to piss some people off? Yep.
And you
Are
gotta
you
learn
going
now
to,
too.
yeah, you're going to disappoint them? Yep. But what's more important? What's most important is that you love yourself enough to give yourself what you need so that you're not blaming somebody else for not having what you need in your life. And
Okay.
so we start to take responsibility and be accountable to ourselves and just make sure that we get what we need. And that is a marriage made in heaven.
So I hear all of that, and I believe in everything you just said. And why are we so conditioned to give more to other people than ourselves? Like, why are we so conditioned to see that, oh, Susie's worth it, but I'm not? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why is
I do.
I mean, I can see it generationally in my family, and I know I am
Sure.
the woman that is taking a stand to break it, not just for me, but for my sons and our little girl on the way as well. And hopefully empower my mother as well, right? Like, that's my vision. But like,
Yeah.
why is this something that is so deeply ingrained in us?
Because we forgot that we have choice.
Yeah.
We forgot that we have choice. We've been conditioned to believe that we don't have choice. And so the most important thing that we can do is to exercise choice in every situation, and that will teach others how to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of the conditioning that we've all, I hate to say it, but fallen prey to,
Yeah.
it was just a mistake. That's all. And mistakes, you know, it was a good idea at the time. It's just not a good idea anymore. And we're allowed to make a different choice.
Mm.
And we're not responsible for how other people are going to respond. We're
I think
just
that's a hard
not.
one for people to let go of the,
Yeah.
how will they react? You know, like this, I will say in the last 4 to 5 months, I've had to let go of things like responsibilities with other people, and it was
Mm-hmm.
hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful I have a community around me that supports me. And, you know, I let go of doing sales for a friend, and I was like, I actually know she's going to be happy for me. But it was almost like that thing of, the more times I say no to other people, the more I'm saying yes to me.
And saying yes to what your soul needs in order to expand.
Yes.
Your soul, your whole purpose here, from my belief and my perspective, is that we're here to expand as a soul, as love, so that more love can extend through us.
Mm-hmm.
If each and every one of us is here contorting ourselves, hemorrhaging energy, trying to make everybody else happy with us, right? And we're trying to make ourselves happy according to their specifications, there will not be any happiness found. We will always fall short of their expectations anyway.
Yeah.
And so why not really start to just step into purpose, step into expansion, allow love to extend itself through us. And when that happens, we step into the partnership of being co-creators with creative life force energy.
Mm-hmm.
Love can only create love. So then everybody gets to benefit. And you're right, you know, part of this whole mistake in the programming that's happened is that we've been given the assumption that we're responsible for everybody else's happiness. And oh my gosh, how it has robbed us of our own happiness is truly a crime, because we need to be happy, because that's where our highest vibrational frequency is. The highest vibrational frequency allows us to create.
Mm-hmm.
So we do no one any service by staying where we know that we are sabotaging ourselves. We are also, and this is where the whole dysfunctional enabling comes in, when we take responsibility for somebody else's happiness, we are denying them the opportunity to discover for themselves how to create their own. Because when we take it over, now we're saying, you have to be happy according to my expectations.
That's huge. That's a huge eye-opening
Huge.
experience right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's definitely, for me, a huge takeaway from this interview, because for years, I just wanted to make my husband happy. I mean, for years, it was all about my husband, and it was all about him and hiding, and like, as long as he's happy, then I can be happy. Right. And it was like, finally I had a wake up call and was like, whoa, like, why can't I get to be happy too in my choice. Right. And what I choose of happiness. And now we have like, our relationship is more than better, right? It's better than I ever expected, because now we're on the same playing level versus me holding him up to this high level of, oh, I need to make him happy.
But the other thing is that you created the foundation for real pillars of relationship to grow.
Yeah.
Self-respect and mutual respect. Self-worth and mutual worth. Self-love, mutual love. Self-commitment, mutual commitment. In other words, you open the doors for these pillars now to start to grow. And it's those pillars that will hold the foundation firm for your marriage for all the years to come.
And to go through anything, I'll say, the ups, the downs, it actually doesn't rock us, because our love is so strong. Yeah.
That mutual respect is what is the birthplace for freedom. And you must have that freedom in your relationship, in all of our relationships, to be a full expression of who you are. First off, it's the only chance in hell that you have of ever being loved for who you really are.
Yeah.
And that's something we all want. So
I can remember when I first started dating my husband, we've been together for 15 and a half years now.
Very nice.
And I wrote in a note, "Thank you for being you." And it was the first time that he had experienced someone loving him for 100% of him. And
how lovely.
It was beautiful. I just remember him getting emotional, like, wow, thank you. Because he always felt like he had to be someone else. But for me and him, he's my soulmate. He, like, crazy how we met. My college number was 12. His birthday's 12/12. His number in college was 2. My birthday's 2/22/82. Just like weird, things where you're like, this is the guy that I'm here to create life with and co-create life with, right? So pretty powerful.
And I just have to ask you, how did your heart feel when you wrote those words?
So fulfilled. Because I knew he loved me for me too. I knew it was, from the very beginning, it's always been this mutual just respect of each other and love for each other.
Yeah.
And
beautiful exchange.
Yeah. And married over 13 years now.
Good for you.
And going strong. So baby
fantastic.
Number 3. Well, Marcy, this has just been incredible. And I know you have a gift to give everybody. I would love for you to share a little bit about your gift and what you're up to right now.
Sure. So I'm really excited to share this gift, because I believe it's going to give everybody a real jump start to just opening up the paths of possibilities, being able to say, what if? So the first of it is that I've written a small ebook on 8 steps to cultivate self-love. in the book also, it's what self-love is and what it isn't. Self-love so often just gets this awful rap, right? Like it's a terrible, selfish thing. It's not that at all. So you need to know what self-love is and what it's going to ask of you. Then I believe that one of the greatest steps of self-love is the gift that you give yourself of forgiveness. And so as we go through life, as I said, there are many times where, all right, maybe we made a mistake, maybe we wish we had done things differently. Every time we do that, we take on this energy that becomes very dense because we separate ourselves from the actual source of love. And so we have to forgive ourselves and let that energy go. So the first thing I added was a forgiveness readiness quiz. You have to know where you are, how to get ready, and go through the process. So that's the forgiveness aspect. But I also wanted to start feeding you the energy that you need to keep that elevation of your vibrational frequency. And so I wrote out some energetically based forgiveness affirmations. And I'm a firm believer that when you are ingesting all of that energy of love, it's love that will set you free. So I like to repeat affirmations both in the morning and at night. And then the other thing is that my expertise actually is in identifying the energy that sabotages people. So I'm offering a 15-minute energy reading. Wow. Identify for you what the energy is that's sabotaging you, and of course, direct you on the path that will set you free too. So that's my gift. And the other thing that I'm so excited about is that I'm launching Self-Love University, which is a new domain for me. And everything in there is going to be there to support people in really journeying through this wonderful, wonderful experience of coming into a place of truly being able to love themselves so they can start to live life as themselves.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Marcy, I'm just so excited that we were able to connect, and everybody take the opportunity and choose, right? Power of choice right now.
That's right.
Power of choice to take take Marcy up on this amazing offer, because here's the thing. It's just God, universe, spirit tapping you on the shoulder saying you're meant for something bigger in your life. And this is one way of receiving love to yourself right now. So take advantage of that. And check out Self-Love University. We'll have both of those links in the email below. And I just want to take a minute here, Marcy, and just say thank you for really being someone that took a stand for your entire life. Like, I mean, I believe, you remind me a lot of Louise Hay. You and Louise Hay.
Thank you.
Yeah, which
that can only be a compliment.
And I'm going to tell you,
honor.
It's an honor, because I haven't met anybody else like Louise Hay, and I actually never got to meet her. I was very close to meeting her. But my point was, she was the first person that opened up my eyes truly to this world, and you remind me so much of her, and I feel like you are a part of her that is still working in this world today, right?
My heart. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What a beautiful thing to say.
Oh, and I feel so fortunate that we've been able to connect here, and just really excited to see what else you get to create in this world here and give back. So thank you for being you and taking a stand for true love and people really living their best life. Thank you.
Crystal, thank you. And to all of our listeners, may you know that you are blessed and loved and cherished beyond all measure.
Thank you, Marcy. Thank you for joining me in the Own Your Power series, How to Be a Badass at Training Your Body, Mind, and Soul to Create the Life and Legacy of Your Dreams. Stay tuned as we have another episode tomorrow to empower you to strengthen your body, mind, and soul to achieve anything and everything you are committed to in your life. And share the love by forwarding this to someone who you know that this would make an impact for. All right, I'll see you guys back tomorrow.